would complain there was no food left.
Councilor Zadi, can you hear us?
Oh, I bet.
I'm like, I think they better be better getting more product.
They should know to like schedule a couple of, but you know, it just probably doesn't make sense to restock.
Gotta be restocking all the time over there.
I know, I have to wait and see
Ready when you are, Mayor.
maybe I should check the airwaves and see when it calms down. Have you been to Traders yet? Just waiting it out. Till people forget about us.
Welcome to tonight's pre-session for July 28th, 2025. Any council reports? Councilor Zai?
No.
Councilor Hart? No. Councilor Camelia?
And there was a lot of interesting events this past week. There was the Westie Brew Fest, and so big thanks to all our staff for putting that on. And of course, there was the town hall on the emergency services, and I'm really grateful to everyone who attended that. I thought that went really well. And thank you to Fire for handing me another big stack of flyers to hand out. I'm just going to keep going back to you for that. And let's see. I just wanted to acknowledge that we all, received that notice around the parking from Mr. Gary Bland, and I read it and acknowledge it. And I feel like I had another note, but that'll do for now.
Councilor Owen?
So I went to AgCog. I had to leave early because I had the historical land board meeting. But AgCog, I did learn from Commissioner Baca that our city sells water to Brighton. And so I want to know, since we're going to raise the dam at Stanley Lake, who all is getting the water and how much and when do they get it? Because that was interesting to know. At the historical landmark meeting, they discussed next year's the 250th anniversary of our country and the 150th years for our state. So they want to do something special at the 4th of July celebration and combine the two. I don't know if they know exactly what that is yet, but they have the tours, bus tours that they're doing this summer. There's one coming up on August 12th. You can go to our website and look under special events. It's $15 to go. I've been on it and it's a lot of fun. So I suggest everyone try it. It's great. I went to the town hall. I do want to know how we got the $10 per household that it's going to cost for the sales tax. Because if you figure 448,000 homes at 14 million we think we're going to raise a year, that's up to about $25 a month. So I want to know how we got the $10. I went to the Trader Joe's grand opening, wonderful. I'm really thrilled that we got it, and I could see the sales tax from it was rolling in. Although I did have friends that went the day after and there wasn't hardly anything left. So hopefully they'll get better at restocking because people are really excited about going. I attended a chamber event at, dang, I can't remember now. Anyway, it's about mental health in the workplace. And there was only 4 of us there, but it was really great and informative if anyone gets a chance to go. And I met Colby DeBias, who's now the Chamber of Commerce hired to do their events in the new downtown. He was there with me. I guess that's it for now.
I need to share, but I'm going to save it for the dais. But I will say just something to think about. It's not just residents who'd be paying a sales tax, which is one of the reasons my table like the sales tax, because anybody who shops here will help pay for our needs. So I'm sure that'll be in your calculations, but just something to think about.
Well, my table didn't like it because they were on fixed income and they were very upset. So anyway.
Number 10.
So similarly, I attended the town hall last week. Thank you to staff for putting on. That was very informative for folks, and it seemed like there wasn't anyone that disagreed with the need. Maybe with the, the approach. And I know we too had folks at our table that were on fixed incomes and were concerned about the impact, disproportionate impact to our residents that would feel the tax a little bit more than others. And I did want to note that I think UNE is the organization that perhaps organized some folks to attend, and they were under the impression that the town hall was going to be about quality of life, and I'm wondering if that maybe came from an earlier description of our town halls before we had defined what this one was going to be. I don't know, but I'm just guessing. And so, maybe there is a need then or interest in, having a quality of life conversation with residents. And so, I think a lot of us heard at our tables that might be of some interest. So maybe we can put something in the schedule then that might be of interest. I'll obviously want to hear from others too on that. And then got to hang out with the mayor and Councilor Ireland at the Trader Joe's opening, so.
Her bag was filled within 30 seconds. 30 seconds, it was overflowing.
We were trying to figure out what we buy there, so she was great at educating.
Yeah, she was going, oh, this is great, oh, my husband likes this, oh, the kids, no, we're not having that one, we're getting that one. And she was I was like, whoa.
I think if there was a competition like that supermarket sweep thing, I could.
You would win, I'd put my money on you. I'm sorry to interrupt. Anything?
Nope.
I did a podcast with the chamber. They're starting something new. It will be delayed because they're trying to get, they started a few weeks ago, and so they're going to start releasing those, I believe, this week or next week. AdCog was terrific. The presentation with targeted violence prevention, it just really makes you hit home with all of the crimes that happen and different things that somebody usually knows something about that was going to happen. And just listening to what all they're doing about that was very, very fascinating. Had NADA this week, and the Weld County group and ours have signed the MOU to work together for what's needed on I-25. In the crash corridor, we had another death this morning. Trader Joe's was very, very fun. I don't know what those kinds of drums were out there, but they were just magical. They were very fun. And people were very well behaved. They were up to David's Bridal, down to Yates area, and then back around to DSW. So, they were 5 deep, so they were very patient. And the people serving the cookies and drinks that had to walk that every time, they needed roller skates. But Trader Joe's folks that Jody and I met the night of the town hall, and we got to greet them and welcome them to Westminster. Wonderful people, and it was so fun to see the manager's son, who's about this high, there to help cut the ribbon that morning, so that was cool. Westy Fest, crowded and good and hot, and Town Hall, it's always fun to just sit and listen to people's thoughts, and it always tells me either how we have gotten stuff out or we still can work on something, so it's always good. Do you have anything for us?
Just one thing. Councilor Ireland raised a point about Brighton water, and that's what we call a flow-through. So Barbara, hope you can describe in a little bit more detail.
I can attest, and then Paul can also add to it. So I can't remember the dates of it, but Westminster used to have an automatic purchase from Thornton. And so the water literally comes through and passes right back through. So the water that we used to receive from Thornton, the quality wasn't to some of our expectations and fitting into our portfolio. And so years ago, the decision was made to, and Brighton had the need for, and so the decision was to sell it to Brighton. So it's literally a pass-through.
Okay, thank you.
So it's not Stanley Lake water. It comes in and we zoom it right back
I
out.
knew it wasn't Stanley Lake water, but she said it originated from us, so.
Yeah.
But I would like to know who has Stanley Lake water. I want to know who's all involved and how much each has and what we're going to gain from raising the dam.
Okay, so I can get that back to you. It's just the three cities, North Glen, Thornton, and Westminster, and I can get you the numbers on that.
Okay.
If we have nothing else, would you like to do post-meeting, pre-meeting?
Mayor, thank you. Yes, Andy Lett is here. So Andy, if you're ready, we could do our post-meeting item now in pre-meeting.
Welcome.
Thank you. Did that work? Look at that. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Councilors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to update City Council on our engagement efforts and related to the 2025 ballot initiative and preview the next phase of outreach. In front of you is a mailer that we intend to send tomorrow, as well as a roadmap of our past efforts and the next phase of our outreach. Per Council's direction, we focus on educating the public, not promoting a position. Our efforts are designed to meet people where they are and build trust before asking for support. Our goal has been to inform the community, gather meaningful input, and support a transparent decision-making process. And ultimately, it will be up to our community to approve or reject the sales tax adjustment. What we heard in 2004 through meetings, emails, surveys, and online comments is not now, and do more with what you have. And this year, what we've heard is emergency response gaps deeply resonate, strong support for fixing neighborhood streets, and residents want clear priorities and transparency with how we fund these needs. Our engagement strategy has been educational and not promotional and fact-based. There should have been a comment there, not promotional and yet fact-based and responsive. Our approach follows a clear three-phase rollout. Beginning in early June, July, we laid a foundation for awareness. We followed that with ongoing public input and refined messaging based on the community feedback that we received. And beginning last week and through August 25th, will be the final phase of our engagement activation. What we've done so far, we've made measurable progress. We fielded a citywide poll with over 1,500 responses, created a clear messaging framework, thanks in large part to Mayor McNally and Corbin Gray, Union President. It's pavement and paramedics, fixing streets and saving lives. We've held 4 open public events with Mayor McNally and City Council. We've launched our engagement platform, that's our.westminsterco.gov/6 minutes. We've produced new videos, graphics, flyers. We've secured earned and paid media. We've created a robust set of shareable materials, flyers, videos, and the like. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge Union President Corbin Gray for participating on a live stream with us on Thursday. He was able to sort of clearly lay out the case for why we need this in the back of an ambulance. Hopefully we will come up with more interesting content like that to sort of gain the attention of our community. What's ahead for us? We have 2 mailers. One with councils, unless council has questions or concerns, we will push the green light tomorrow on sending a mailer to all residents in Westminster, where we lay out the need. The second mailer in 2 weeks, once council reviews and approves potential draft ballot, which we hope to bring back on August 11th, we'll send out a second mailer where we will introduce that new ballot language. We'll also continue to roll out digital and social ads as part of our work. We hired a consultant to deliver over the internet connected TV ads. On average, with the first round, residents should see somewhere around 86 views of these social ads. We're going to flip the zone in the next month or so. We've also equipped staff with materials to educate, not advocate. PW and FD staff began providing community with flyers last week. And then finally, we will continue to update our online hub, westminsterco.gov/60 minutes, 6 minutes, with a brand champion toolkit, which we hope to complete in the coming days. Our key messages going forward: 6 minutes. Response times can mean life or death, fixing streets and saving lives. These are focused investments connected to public safety and neighborhood streets. We heard you. These next 3, we're blending into our budget season as well, so we can carry this message of fiscal responsibility, which means we heard you. The proposal was shaped and informed by deep community engagement, turning over every stone. The city's doing more with what we have and before we ask the community for more. And finally, it's a leaner ask. This is a focused, transparent, and lower than 2024. The finish line. The deadline for the city to set the ballot question is August 25th, 2025. That's what we're working towards. Communications will remain education, not advocacy, and we'll continue to highlight the voices of PW and fire staff in the upcoming materials. With that, I welcome council's direction and feedback.
I know you heard a lot of feedback from the community as well on Thursday. What resonated with me quite well was just the storytelling component, and to, I guess my guidance might be to, wherever we can, focus on like individual stories or stories of firefighters, or, you know, I don't think streets are as exciting to tell a story about, but maybe.
I don't know, Cleopatra, and I can't remember some of our other names. They
Those are adorable.
Yeah.
But I think, just.
And they're loved during the winter.
They are. But that's just what I hope we can continue to move forward as part of, you know, those smaller things that you're creating and videos.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. My team is beginning tomorrow. We're going to go out to the community and interview residents, person on the street, TikTok style explainers, and we, depending on our community's appetite for being asked questions in the middle of the street, we're going to roll out some content. If it works, we're going to keep doing it. If it doesn't work, we're going to figure out some other things to do.
Okay.
Yep.
Councilor Carmelia.
I'll just say I'm blown away by how much you've done in a few short weeks. So great job, like truly, truly commendable. When I saw the firefighter video with Corbin, I said, how do they put that together so quickly? So I know that you're working, you know, full steam ahead, and just really thank you. And thank you for delivering such a clearly laid out plan that's concise and to the point. And I really liked hearing your way of messaging it just now with the bullet points, because that will help me better message this long story that I've been trying to communicate one by one into a few short bullet points that really make sense. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Ireland.
Well, I was going to ask, how much are we spending on this campaign?
The cost is mostly staff driven. We've done nearly all of the work in-house. The mailers and the digital ads, we worked through a consultant. The contract is $49,300.
And how much are the mailers?
The bulk of the mailers, I want to say, and I'll come up with it, I'll provide an exact number, but it's around $36,000.
And clarify, that's included in the $49,300.
And the bulk of that is
All right.
postage.
And I'll just share, because I can, that Citizens for Equality Westminster Issue Committee has been working hard behind the scenes. We finally have an EIN number, so we will go live this week to be able to ask for money. And I'll send that out to the counselors that are signed up on the committee and to our entire committee. But also on National Night Out, I'll be sending something out to the committee, hoping that residents and council members that attend we'll try to organize so that we have at least 2 people at each of the national night outs handing out these, so firefighters aren't just having to do it on their own, that they see public and council are behind it and helping answer questions. So we're ready to start that donation drive and doing the campaigning for the issue, and we're not waiting till August 25th to do it. We have started. So we've just been waiting for literally almost Congress to get us our EIN number, and it was a long 6 hours on hold and talking to people again today, and at 3:35 I finally got it. So we can now move ahead. It's been a long 10 days.
Congratulations, Mayor.
Yes.
Councilor Hobb had a...
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I love the creativity. I like the multiple avenues, and I definitely support your plan.
Thank you, Counselor.
You want to ask Obi if he...
Obi, you have anything?
Yes, Andy, this is amazing. Thank you so much. As you know, I've been asking just to know what the plan is, and you've laid out such a beautiful, really strong, really well thought out plan. And I think doing that in 2 to 3 weeks, like you've done all this in a few weeks. And I want to emphasize that for anyone listening or watching, that that's special. And you should really be applauded. You and all staff, and Jody, thanks for pushing this through. I had a question regarding the mailer distribution. What's the estimated count? It's not all households, right? Is it targeted?
It's 2 rounds, and the total distribution is 80,000 mailers.
That's awesome. Yeah. And one thing that came up in the town hall last week that I've told Jody about is this concept that, you know, fire has a really high public approval, and people perceive fire, the job that fire is doing, as they're doing a great job. And I think that's one of the reasons why maybe the ballot question failed last year, was because people think they're already doing a great job. So why should the cost go up? So I think adding the roads in just reaffirmed to me why it was so important to add the roads piece in, and to educate on the reason why, the life-saving elements of the fire piece. So I love this mailer because it does that. What I would recommend in some kind of future, one of the tactics that you have there, I think we need more images of the roads, potholes, show the worst of our roads. And that will resonate with people because generally roads have a really low perception in people's minds. And if we show, hey, something like this could actually fix these things that we see every day, that could be useful. And also someone mentioned the rental community and how we should engage them in targeted ways. We have a lot of renters in Westminster, and I agree with that I'm not sure how you can get in. Maybe it is the mail, Andy, but if there's a rental strategy, I think we can get a lot of leeway there. And finally, back to school partnerships. Schools, from an education standpoint, if it's non-political, if it is just this education piece, I think there's an opportunity there to partner with schools as schools are opening up these next few weeks across the city. But thank you so much, Andy. This is great.
Thank you, Counselor.
Councilor Dumont?
I appreciate all the work that you've put into this. I'll tell you, just from my own going out and talking to folks, which I've talked to pretty close to about 5,000 doors so far this election cycle. And I've probably been pushing this harder than anything because at the end of the day, if I'm not up here anymore, this still impacts my family. And I think that the key to this is that you're meeting people with why it affects them. There are folks that are going to always support public safety. That's just the reality of our city. We've seen it when the mayor was here before. But what is really effective is that this is why it affects you. And I think even some of the comments we've heard in terms of low-income folks, and why I like municipal government. When you turn on the tap, water's not red or blue. When you need emergency services, we're not asking what your income level is. So folks need to understand that and how this actually impacts them, because at the end of the day, if you hit one of those emergencies, none of that stuff really matters. What matters is our people get to you. And that's the message that I see in here. And if former Councilor Seymour used to like to make fun of me because I always would say, what did we learn? And I have to give staff that you did learn from last year that we were missing the story. So I think that you've got a good story. I think that is a good component to add some residents actually talking about it. So I really like that idea. But all in all, I think you've got what we need in order to really give the case to the residents and let them make their decision in a very educated way.
I think another good selling point is all of the work that Chief Burke and his deputy chiefs and group worked on. This is all data. It is data-driven, not just a wish list or wouldn't this be nice. It is data-driven. And I know when Chief Hose and we sort of call it the dog and pony show. He has the maps, and then I talk to him first, and then say, you have to go see the maps. And people can see on the maps the gaps. And so then they understand it. So all of their prep work with their data, it is just so factual and not made up. This is what it is, and people can see that, ask their questions, and they get it. So I commend them for taking the time to do all of that work too. Okay, thank you.
3 minutes to spend.
We will see everybody in 3 minutes. Welcome to tonight's meeting of July 28th, 2025. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Westminster City Council meeting of July 28th, 2025. We appreciate your attendance and would like to remind everyone that our meetings are governed by the rules of decorum, which are posted inside the chamber doors. These rules are in effect during the meetings, including breaks and transitions. To ensure a welcoming and respectful environment, we kindly ask everyone to adhere to the following expectations. No attendee shall disrupt the meeting. Threats and intimidation are strictly prohibited. Audible expressions of support or opposition for any speaker are not allowed. Signs and placards are prohibited inside the chamber. All attendees must remain seated in the designated seats and refrain from occupying aisles or blocking doorways. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding as we work together to maintain a productive and respectful meeting. If you are here to speak during public comment, please sign up in the lobby. Sign up closes at 7:15. Roll call, please.
Councillor Carmelia?
Present.
Councillor Demott?
Present.
Councillor Azadi?
Here.
Councillor Hott?
Present.
Mayor McNally?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela?
Here.
And Councillor Ireland?
Here.
And is there a motion to have Councillor Azadi remote? Councillor Demott?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow Councillor Azadi to be remote this evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to consideration of minutes of the preceding meeting. Councillor Demott?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2025 City Council meeting as presented.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 14th. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposite or opposed? That brings us to public comment. The public comment portion is an opportunity for the public to speak with City Council. Each participant will have up to 3 minutes. Public comment is not intended to be a back and forth discussion. The city clerk has informed me that we have received no emails, one voicemail that has been transcribed and attached to tonight's packet. So City Clerk, would you please call the first person?
Yes, we have 8 people signed up tonight. Our first is Ben Cochran.
Welcome.
City Council, hello. Never spoken at City Council, never been to a Westminster City Council meeting before. I just need, I guess, some guidance or assistance on where to go with a specific complaint. I live near the West End Hotel and I work in Boulder, so I use 36 to get to work 4 out of 5 days of the week, or work week, I guess. But in May, I reported via Access Westminster a graffiti complaint. There was graffiti placed on the back wall of the new Mark Promenade Apartments. It's visible from 36, so I bring that up as being relevant. I submitted that at the end of May, on May 29th, and there was a single tag that was maybe 20 feet wide by 10 feet tall. But over the last 2 months, it's now grown to the entire length of wall, which is about 500 feet, and it's a 10-foot tall wall, so it's just kind of gotten out of control. I've submitted multiple requests through Access Westminster, and they've been closed out as being duplicates, or I've been told that they have contacted the owners of the apartment complex and they have provided them resources to get the graffiti removed, but it's just kind of gotten out of hand, so I don't know kind of where to go from there. So I just figured I'd bring that up. I'm not trying to make it like a big deal for code enforcement or anything like that, because they've done a great job with plenty of other issues that I've brought up, so I'm not trying to be like a whiner or anything like that, but I haven't gotten any response, and it's been 2 months since I first reported it, and it's now just kind of gotten well out of control. So I just wanted to see if they could have it abated or contact the apartment complex to have them do it themselves. So that's all I'm here for.
Thank you. And I'll just share that anybody that comes and talks to us during this portion, we don't get into a back and forth, but our staff and our city manager is taking notes, and we'll make sure that they get back to everybody that has that speaks on an issue. So thank you for bringing it up.
Our next speaker is Elizabeth Peros.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Attorney, City staff. My name is Elizabeth Peros. I am here this evening to speak with respect to the first reading of Councilor's Bill number 23, the supplemental appropriation to the 2025 General Capital Improvement Fund for nuisance abatement activities in the Midland Building located at 7255 Irving Street. I have been retained by the owner of the Midland Building to state that it is the owner's intent to move forward with the process. He is in great support of getting a building permit. I can assure everybody here this evening that during the past 2 weeks, we have made great progress. I have been in contact with Mr. Frankel. I have been in contact with Dave Durbin, Kelly Earhart, with the fire department, and understand that this has, by all means, I think for everyone been a lengthy process, but we are encouraged by the response that we have received by everyone within the city and the applications that have been made. I can state that other than the fire sprinkler permit and the fire alarm permit, everything has been submitted to the city. Those two items, we retain Victory Fire Protection today to go ahead and get those applications processed and submitted. And once those are submitted, then everything will be in front of the city. We also have submitted the plat as of this morning and are doing all the background information, such as coordinating with the title company to get the final approval of the plat. So we would like to request this evening that the City of Westminster, everyone here, take this into consideration to perhaps table the reading of the bill or the appropriation to abate the nuisance at 7255 Irving Street, and to understand that we are moving forward as quickly and as promptly as possible, and it is the desire of the property owner to obtain the building permit so he can commence construction of converting the building to the 18 units. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Greg Kaler.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Greg Kaler. I've lived in the city of Westminster for 46 years. I'm a representative of ACAN, Adams County Aging Network. I'm also representative for Dr. Cog for the Adams County area. I'm a graduate of the Westminster City Academy. Along with Bonnie Ashton, I want to introduce something about ACAN. You probably know about all the stats about projected age of citizens, senior citizens coming up. The Colorado State Demography Office, SDO, the population is aging. The medium age is going to be 40 here shortly. Over 50% of the state's growth between 2020 and 2023 is going to be over 65 years of age. 70% of the growth of 65 plus population will be people over 75 years of age. We know why people are aging more in our area because of the demographics. The baby boomers, ourselves, we're just not moving. We want to stay where we've been for many years. Like I say, we've been here for 46 years. The impact of aging means more demand for healthcare and elder care services. This is kind of what Bonnie and I do. We're part of the Adams County Aging Network. We help citizens find places to help themselves age in place. Westminster population is about 115,000. Of them, aged 55 to 64 are about 11%, and over 65 is almost 16%. That's 26% of the population in Westminster. Per the state SDO, their projected growth of citizens between our age, in the years 2023 to 2034. In Jefferson County, it's going to go from 75 to 84, almost 48%. 85 and above, it's going to go up 54%. Adams County, 75 to 84 is 69%, and 85 and above is 71%. Westminster needs not to forget our current and future aging citizens. Many of the other citizens in cities around in Broomfield, Thornton, Commerce City, they have some good programs for the citizens, for the senior citizens. We as ACAN are willing to help our citizens and the council provide things for our citizens. Here's Bonnie Ashton. She's going to bring something up here.
My name is Bonnie Ashton, and I live at 9960 Grove Street in Westminster and have been a resident since 1992. I started attending the ACAN meetings about 20 years ago as a volunteer for Centura Health.
And Monty, can I just get you to pull the microphone down? Thank you. Thank you. It's just so people listening can hear.
I started attending ACAN meetings about 20 years ago as a volunteer for Centura Health and have never looked back because the information is very valuable. As secretary, I plan programs for our meetings as well as provide information for our meetings and newsletters. Adams County Aging Network is the area agency on aging connected to the Denver Regional Council of Governments, which is we call Dr. Cog. We are a nonprofit that strive to provide older adults with helpful information that may be beneficial to and vital in making life decisions. Our monthly meetings are the first Wednesday of each month from 9 to 10 a.m. at the Thornton Community Connection Center, which to us is a middle-of-the-road location in our county. The days begin with a short business meeting, after which there's an educational presentation. Some of our speakers this year have been from Dr. Cog, Adams County LEAP Program, Elder Abuse from the State Unit on Aging, Adams County LEAP Program, Elder Chief Coroner from the Adams County, Colorado Talking Book Library, and more. November is always safe for a safety presentation by the fire department, and we had the fire department come and demonstrate the fire extinguishers live. That was a great demonstration and very valuable. Greg has given you some numbers that affect Adams County seniors, and Westminster is also a part of Adams County. So many seniors take advantage of the classes that you offer. Our resource fair, which we try to have 2 each year, offer information residents could take advantage of. Too often, people wait too long to obtain the knowledge that might be necessary to help them when an emergency comes or even before, so they are prepared. We get phone calls monthly from residents that need help, often at the last minute. ACAN is here to help Westminster with its aging population. ACAN would like to be able to hand out flyers at Westminster City Centers, such as the MAC, Westminster City Park, and libraries to give information about our senior resource fairs and meetings. Also, if possible, there would be a possibility to be able to announce our fairs and meetings through one of the many citizens' community information sources the city has available. This would be a great way to get information to as many people as possible. We would love to have one of you or all of you attend our meetings or our senior resource fairs. The October meeting, our October ACAN meeting, will be a presentation from Adams County on their minor home repair program. Thank you for giving us your time. We do have some brochures to hand out if you would like to have them.
If you'll hand them over here to our Deputy City Clerk, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Mayor, I just lost my connection to the public comment app, so I just need a moment to reset. Thank you.
It looks like human connection instead of internet connection.
Here we go. Okay. Sherry Griffin.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, staff, and council. My name's Sherry Griffin, and I'm also representing Deborah Austin, who wasn't able to attend tonight. We drafted the memo I handed out. I'm here tonight to talk about public and environmental safety in Hoos and Hoodona. The Indiana Street Bridge will be open between Rocky Flats and Hoos any day now, and long-distance cycling is about to become pervasive in Hoos and Hoodona. When the Indiana Street Bridge opens, increased long-distance cycling traffic is likely to make the 1-mile section of the Greenway Trail that dissects Hudona unsafe for both cyclists and pedestrians with off-leash dogs. Because the 1-mile portion of the Greenway Trail inside Hudona was constructed 9 years ago, there is an established pedestrian use pattern that continues to increase with the popularity of the area. This trail is the most safe and accessible option for the most vulnerable pedestrians and their dogs, including senior citizens, families with young children and babies in strollers, and individuals with disabilities using assistive devices such as wheelchairs and walkers and dogs with disabilities. The coming user conflict is a foreseeable public safety hazard. Redirecting the Greenway Trail away from the northeastern corner of the Woman Creek property also has environmental benefits. The presence of the burrowing owl there may provide council with the legal pathway to restrict cycling and pedestrian traffic from that portion of the Greenway Trail. A consultant for the city confirmed the presence of burrowing owls on the Woman Creek property in May 2025. Burrowing owls are heavily dependent on prairie dog burrows because they cannot build nor repair their own burrows that serve as homes for their nests. Prairie dogs are plentiful in Hoos, making it predictable this species, which is threatened in Colorado, will return to this site. Burrowing owls nest in loose colonies with nests about 100 yards apart. The birds move around and use satellite burrows in addition to the nest burrow. Recommendations to help burrowing owls thrive include maintaining a buffer zone of 100 to 300 yards, but preferably a half a mile. Keeping cycling and pedestrian traffic away from the network of burrowing owl nests may allow for the location to become an annual nesting spot for future families of owls. The current Greenway Trail alignment in the northeast portion of the Woman Creek property may violate the Colorado Department of Wildlife buffer zone for the owls, and if so, Westminster has the legal right to restrict cycling and pedestrian access there. Directing staff to redirect long-distance cycling outside of Hudona will encourage cyclists to use the existing trails in Hoos and find their way around Hudona, eliminating user conflict. Thank you so much for your consideration on this important issue of public and environmental safety and your commitment always to that.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jerry Mayabu.
Welcome.
How you guys doing? Good evening, council members. My name is Jerry Maibu. I come to you today not just as a physicist and former CEO and chairman for over 20 years, but as an ordained Christian pastor. More importantly, as someone currently living in the reality of homelessness here in Westminster across Adams and Jefferson counties. The current navigation system meant to support the homeless is broken. It's inefficient, inconsistent, and at times inhumane. I'm not here with secondhand stories. I'm here because I'm living it. Before this, I built companies from scratch, employed teams, and paid millions in taxes. I lost over $250 million in personal and company assets after my globally patented technology was stolen through IP thievery agenda and of bad money that the company took on. And shortly after, I was wrongfully incarcerated. When I got out on December 2nd of 2024, I found myself homeless with everything I owned stolen, loss of my home, cars, clothing, everything I own, computers, servers. I have been and still am walking the streets as so many others who are now my community, the unfortunate homeless. Let's be clear, homelessness is not a character flaw for many. Many of us are not here from drug or alcohol abuse. We are here due to forces beyond our control, legal injustice, health crises, job loss. We are workers, veterans, parents, C-level executives, business owners, people trying to survive. Some key failures of the current system. Prioritization is arbitrary. People falsely claiming custody of children are fast-tracked, while others, even the elderly or those working full-time, are left behind. Where is the auditing of proper due diligence? It does not need to be as strict as Sarbanes-Oxley compliance, but something other than what it currently is. Hygiene access is non-existent. I've gone weeks without any showers except for 2, while working 12-hour day shifts in the heat. Theft is constant. Our possessions are stolen. Those avoiding drugs are often punished while others manipulate the system. Resources are minimal. The average care package includes bug spray and a pair of socks every 2 weeks. That isn't compassion, it's optics. Part 1 of our 5-part plan is simple. Provide 1 night per week of hotel shelter for anyone registered in the navigation system or on the waiting list. That is, 1 clean bed, 1 working shower, 1 night to reset with dignity. This doesn't require new infrastructure, just partnerships with existing motels. It's not luxury, it's humanity. Ask yourselves, what would it feel like to sleep on gravel with cracked ribs like my girlfriend did? How would it feel to work all day only to return to a stolen tent in 100-degree heat? In Acts 14:22, it says we must all undergo many hardships. But Scripture also commands us to clothe the naked, house the stranger, lift the poor. To ignore this is not morally wrong. It's a violation of God's command. This is not a plea. It's a call to act. Part 1 of 5 is proposed and on the table. We'll be back with Part 2. We, being the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, and myself, only our souls are at stake, and I expect you to do what's righteous. Thank you all, and may the grace of God be with you and your families.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Alan Farb.
Welcome.
Unintended consequences, a wolf in sheep's clothing, pulling the wool over your eyes, lipstick on a pig. It's a mix of metaphors, yes, but all fit the bill or ordinance. These all describe the city's latest attempt to try to find ways to ban its unhoused residents. And right on the heels of Trump's unlawful executive order, because the city continues to look to punish the unhoused without real options to address homelessness, such as actively pushing its 2 counties for wraparound services and housing to actually help vulnerable Westminster people to fully exit homelessness. The homeless navigators are making some progress in finding housing for some folks, but with more unhoused people showing up, I don't see how they'll keep up. For the past 5+ years that I've been interacting with our unhoused, I still see so many of the same people I've seen for 5 years. I'm not talking about your proposed temporary severe weather sheltering effort with Jeffco and its cities. I'm talking about the proverbial wolf dressed in the manner of a sheep that at the July 7th city study session, it offered this council a different angle to banning the homeless. No, that is, it's not about the homeless. No, this is about protecting, say, a water treatment facility and any other city-owned property from any interloper. Nothing else to see here, folks. Following that July 7th study session where this new and improved ordinance proposal was offered, I can still hear the imagined or maybe real high-fiving, slaps, and laughing from the triumvirate of Parks and Recs Director Eric Osselberger, Police Chief Halbert, and Assistant City Attorney Munch after they repackaged with the lipstick-covered wording what actually would become a homeless on city property ban, one that the majority of this council turned away less than 2 months ago, but somehow now seems enamored through the wool over its eyes with a new way of stating the still obvious. That is, the city will leave it up to this and future city managers to use their discretion in any such ordinance to harass, intimidate, cite, or maybe even arrest an unhoused woman or man resting on any city property, and that includes, say, a grassy spot near the sidewalk. That is, the city will leave it up to this or any other future council or any Westie PD officer to use their discretion to harass, intimidate, cite, or even arrest anyone resting on any city property. The city manager, city attorney, and the police chief can say discretion will be used, but at whose discretion, and how, and where, and when. The triumvirate of city employees purposely offered no specifics, only discretions. Unless you pull away the wool and unmask the wolf and remove the lipstick, this unintended consequences will become intended. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Tom Lampo.
Welcome.
Thanks. Hello to everyone. Hello to Westminster. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm Tom Lampo. I'm here to lift up Westminster in prayer. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, we come before you and invite you here to be with us. You are always welcome here in the city of Westminster. You're the creator of all things, and we need your presence more than ever. We need you to guide and lead us in our daily lives. We need you to guide and lead our elected leaders at all levels to make sound decisions to move us in a direction which will enrich our lives. You see the future where no one else can, and your love for us has no limit. 2 Corinthians 1:3 reads, "Praise be to God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort." You have compassion for us. You understand where we are. We can trust in your ways to guide us to a future where we can reside in all your blessings, which will bring peace to our lives. Father, it's a good time of year, and I want to lift up all those whose life are about to change. Many are enjoying the last days of well-earned break, the final vacation, the final summer camps, the final adventures, freedom to spend time in a leisurely fashion. It's all given to us by you. Ecclesiastes 8:15 states, "So I commend enjoyment, for there is nothing better for people under the sun than to eat, drink, and enjoy themselves, for this will go with them in their toil through the days of life that God gives them under the sun." Give us strong, lasting memories of enjoyable times with friends and family that we can take with us throughout our lives. Let these days be a marker in time in our lives, because inevitably we will not have so enjoyable days ahead of us. Let us remember these days to bring joy back into our lives during those times when joy seems so far away. Praise, glory, and honor to you, O Lord Jesus Christ. You are our God, and we are your people. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jim Fenimore.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Jody, staff. I just want to come up and bring some suggestions forward tonight. First of all, I'd like to start out and say being over at the rec center over there off 108th was a real nice pleasure. That's a nice facility. That's a diamond in the rough over there. Didn't know it was there. So kudos to the city for that nice property. And then I just would like to take and bring forward a common sense thought for the city raising revenue to meet some of our deficiencies. Council, and I believe also planning, allowed the Uplands to come forward and change the use and the zoning over off of 88th and Federal. That was supposed to be residential, light retail with residential involved in their low-income housing. So you, this council, and the city agreed with what Uplands used to get their change of usage. They used the fact that 28 to 32% vacancy rate in the city of Westminster for retail. If we'd use a common sense thought about this, we'd go out and bring in more retail and more businesses into the city. And when they come in and do business, then that's going to bring in tax revenue, and that's going to help meet our needs. And if we got that from a 28 to 32% down to a 5 or 10% vacancy rate, the city would be doing a whole lot better financially. The residents would have more places to go. So what we would do is we'd have a win-win-win. The people win, the city wins, and the people going out and shopping in the community win. So that's a thought to bring forward to you guys. And then I still like to back up the barn that's going to be built over for the farm over at Pillar Fire. I think that's going to be a real asset to the community. That's what I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Dino Valente.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor McNally, City Council, City Manager Andrews. I did not come here this evening with the intent to speak, but to listen. I followed the Nightmare Midland building for a lot of years, and I was very excited when I saw on your agenda tonight that the city's finally going to take decisive action. I think the definition of slumlord is that building. to Councilor DeMott's comments a couple weeks ago, you guys have come awfully close with the old rodeo building, but nothing like that nightmare. It has been a festering, cancerous plague of graffiti, fires, urine, feces, drugs, gangs, needles, broken windows. Take your pick of the run of the gamut. We've had it all. But those of us who live, work, do business, own property in the area are tired of it. To hear a representative of the property owner come forth and say, stop, stop, remain calm, all is well, much like Kevin Bacon's character in Animal House, all is not well there. I encourage you to continue to move forward, to take the steps, to empower your staff to take the steps to move forward. And if this landlord truly is serious and his representatives truly are serious, then there are vehicles still available. I believe there are court proceedings that still have to occur, but don't back away. Don't be fooled. That was once a beautiful building. Whenever it fell into this landlord's hands, he took our entire neighborhood down, and we're tired of it. Please move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final speaker is Gary Shea.
Welcome.
Mayor McNally and council, thank you for having me this evening, able to speak. Dino's a tough act to follow there. Just to reiterate, though, thank you for addressing this on an agenda item this evening. Reading through the memorandum there, realizing it's been 10 years that this building has sat vacant and deteriorated that long of a time there too. But especially thanks to Mayor McNally and Councilor DeMott for being informed and engaged over these last few years to get to this point that we're at today here. So I don't know if I could speak for the entire community, but I think that there's a sense of relief that there's solutions on the horizon. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That brings us to City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a brief report this evening. First, want to thank all of our speakers tonight. Staff does follow up with anybody who requires follow-up, so we'll take care of that. And I assure you that staff and City Council listen to all your comments, and we will follow up. ACAN representatives, thank you for coming in tonight. I was already getting some ideas from you, so we'll follow up with you. Next slide, please. By way of city update, this is a very exciting one. We are pleased and proud to announce that we are now approaching the 25th anniversary of our Westview Recreation Center. And one of our speakers talked about the Westview Recreation Center tonight. It's been recently renovated, and we did that on purpose to precede our celebration of 25 years of this facility. I want to thank the staff and the residents, both past and present, who've made it feel like home these past 25 years. And some of those staff and residents who've visited us since then have been with us since opening day. So we are very hopeful that they will be present for our celebration. And that celebration is on Saturday, August 2nd. It begins at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and will run all the way through to 5 p.m. And again, that's at the Westview Recreation Center at 10747 West 108th Avenue. Next slide, please. Also, by way of update, this has been an issue that has been important to City Council, and we've had many speakers come in on this to our public comment period. And I do want to announce and confirm for City Council and the community that we have now completed the overhauling of our Rental Housing Committee. This was a committee that had been in place before, but was not inclusive of all stakeholders. And so we've now overhauled that and reconstituted it. And that new committee began meeting meeting in June on a bi-monthly basis. And the purpose of the committee is to gather feedback and listen to input from both tenants and property owners to improve the city's processes, procedures, and responsiveness. I can tell you that this is paired with our organizational overhaul of our rental housing program, which is currently underway. And I want to thank and appreciate the patience of our tenants and landlords in our community who've been providing feedback all along and continue to provide feedback. So we commit to getting better and more responsive, and this committee will be key for us being able to do that. Next slide, please. On tonight's agenda, there are 6 items on consent agenda. There are 2 items that are new business. The first is reading Councilor's Bill number 22, amending the Westminster Municipal Code to update board and commission language, including term limits. This is at the direction of City Council. The next item of new business is the first reading of Councilor's Bill number 23, which is a supplemental appropriation to the 2025 General Capital Improvement Fund for nuisance abatement activities at the Midland Building located at 7255 Irving Street. And then we had scheduled a post-meeting study session, which we were able to complete in pre-meeting. So after the first reading of Councilor's Bill 23 is considered by Council, that will wrap up the evening for us tonight, Mayor. Next slide. This week, there are 2 things of note. Wednesday, July 30th, there is a meeting of the Environmental Advisory Board right here at Westminster City Hall, and that starts at 6:30 and runs through till 8 p.m. And then again, of course, on Saturday, August 2nd, we do celebrate with our community and staff the 25th anniversary of the Westview Recreation Center, and that's at 2 o'clock and runs to 5 p.m. Next slide, please. At our next meeting of City Council, it's a study session. That's next Monday, August 4th, and that starts at 6:30 here at City Hall. We will have 2 presentations. One will be on the Downtown Signature Artwork program, and the second will be the Regional Housing Needs Assessment. And then that will be followed by 3 executive sessions, 2 of City Council, the first of which will be to discuss a proposed economic development agreement involving 3053 West 104th Avenue, and the second will be to discuss strategy and progress on the potential property acquisition or property rights related to certain agreements between the City of Westminster and Westminster SP LLC. And then finally, there will be a Westminster Economic Development Authority executive session meeting, which is to obtain direction from the WIDA board regarding land acquisition within the North Huron Urban Renewal Area for a future fire station. Next slide, please. And I do appreciate feedback tonight from a community member regarding Access Westminster. That's critical. I'd like to say, we'd like to say that that app is working flawlessly. It's not, and thank you when you draw those to our attention. We do appreciate that. It does allow us to fine tune that and make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks. So I appreciate the speaker coming in tonight. We'll follow up with that speaker directly. And in the meantime, everybody, please do keep using Access Westminster. We do get hundreds and hundreds of successfully resolved Access Westminster filings, and so we do appreciate when we get an anomaly. We can also reach us by phone at 303-658-2400, our website, westminsterco.gov, and any one of our 4 social media platforms. That's all I have, Mayor.
Any questions for City Manager? Councilor Azadi, I can't see a hand or anything, so I'll just ask you.
No.
Anyone else? Councilor Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Andrews, can you, for the Rental Housing Committee, can you clarify for folks who is actually on it? Is it staff or with external stakeholders? And if someone's interested in either attending one of these meetings, where might they go to get information on it or to be a part of that?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That's a great question. Staff facilitate the committee, but it's comprised of stakeholders, so that will include tenants, tenant representatives, and landlord representatives. So, for example, we do have a representative from UNI on the committee. They've been invaluable and representing a much broader group of stakeholders on the tenants on the tenant representation side, and then I can get some more information to you and the community around how to get more information on that committee. We can, for example, put up the dates of those committee meetings, and if someone's interested in participating, we can set out the pathway to consider doing that. Thank you.
Councillor Ireland?
I was just going to ask about Access Westminster because I've heard a lot of complaints about it. So when people submit something on there, what happens to their request? Who answers it? Do they get a direct answer, I got your request? Or how long does it take for them to hear anything?
Thank you, Councillor Ireland. It's a great question. We have with us tonight Andy, our communications lead, and Andy can describe the process and how Access Westminster works and how to give us feedback when we do get responses that don't maybe get resolved right away.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just sent my team an email to figure out what's going on. Our requirement is we provide acknowledgement of the ticket within 48 business hours, and then resolutions over 80% are resolved within those 48 hours. More complex issues take more time. With regard to the graffiti issue, I sent an email now to PD to figure out what the nuance is there, and we'll provide council with an update as well as the resident.
Okay, thank you. I've known several people though that never heard anything. So that is a concern of mine. I mean, if they want to send me an email, I will make sure it's heard. But if it's just in a black hole, that is a problem. So I hope that we're doing a better job there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councillor Ireland, I could add that one of the trends we're seeing is with respect to complaints we get around private property issues. And one of the things that we're not able to do is move expeditiously on a private property matter. There is a due process to follow. And we had a recent one where staff did follow up and actually was regarding weeds and did issue a number of citations. But there is also a timeline associated with response to those citations. And in the case of private property wall, that's not something that the city can go and take action on directly. But what we do is follow up and make sure that the property owner is following up, and then there is a progression of consequences for not following up. Unfortunately, it does take time. 2 months sounds like way too long, and so there's something that's gone wrong on that one.
Well, my concern is they just get a response one way or another. It's going to take longer because we have a property owner. I mean, people need to understand where it's at, not they didn't hear me. Thanks.
I couldn't agree more. We're going to figure that out. 2 months is too long, and the least we can do is provide status updates. Thank you, Councillor.
I would just say to Ben, we live in the same area and I see the same things. And I know I put in, because I was driving, I just called it in. But because it went from that one block of wall to the entire gray blocks and all the way from the top to the bottom, they didn't just use small letters anymore. It was the whole thing. I did see it cleaned up, so I know it's repeating, and I know we had some camps over there that have left, but I still have seen some, and I have seen it cleaned up, so it could be at times, and I know you go every day, I don't, but I have seen some of it. But I too have problems with Access Westminster. I always use the police department's one for graffiti because I usually get answers with theirs, but there could be some overlap. Access Westminster, since Mr. Knipple, you're in the audience, there is a lock to one of our water somethings over at the ice rink. I did get a response, and one of the times that Access worked for me, that said, people were there, it's okay. There still is a broken lock, and I can tell you exactly which tree it's under, and it is so in there, I don't think unless somebody has some other tools, they can get it out to break into what's under there. But it is broken. It's not fixed. My email said it had been fixed. It's not fixed. We walk Gabby by there every single day. I've taken pictures, but then I can't walk and press the buttons, and she's busy grabbing me and pulling me. So since I'm here and I remember it, Paul, I can show you that, and so that you know exactly which one I'm talking about. Okay, anyone else? That brings us to consent agenda. Do we have a motion? Huh? Oh, council comments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a busy week, and I didn't want to share ahead of time because I know we wanted to make our post-meeting and the pre-meeting. So I wanted to thank staff and everybody who came out to the town hall. It was a great conversation. I will say that to the point that we made earlier on tonight, if folks listened to the pre-meeting, folks understand when they hear what we're doing and why, and so we had a lot of support in that room in terms of getting the extra resources for our streets and our fire department. So that was a great conversation and a well-done event, as well as that's the first time I've got to go into Westview since you redone it, and even though I live down the street, and it's quite beautiful, so they did a fantastic job with it. Additionally, I attended the Chamber's Summer Sounds at the Central Square with Silas Herman. That was a lot of fun. And then I went with the mayor, and I went and hung out for a little bit at the Westy Craft Brew Fest. That was always a good time. I will say that the line was a little long in the VIP tent for the food, so folks who paid extra for that, I don't think got their money's worth this year. Usually that's a little bit smoother. So hopefully we can figure that out. Then additionally, I would ask folks to remember that National Night Out is coming up. And so that is an opportunity for you to go if you're having a national night out in your neighborhood. I know that there's information on the westminsterco.gov website. So that's a great opportunity to meet some of our firefighters, police officers, and just hear, what they're doing, as well as just spend time with your neighbors and let folks know this is our community and we expect it to stay safe.
Councilor Camelia?
Thank you so much. I wanted to thank the representatives from the Adams County Aging Network who came to this evening. I look forward to learning more about the efforts you're doing, as aging in our community is a priority for all of us on council. And so I look forward to finding out when the next meeting is, and I'll try my best to be there and meet with you as well offline, just to find out what projects you're up to and figure out how I can support. I also was going to share, I mentioned in the pre-meeting that I had attended several city events this weekend, but I forgot to mention the several Westminster Chamber events that I attended. And so I just want to give a shout out to our chamber that's doing such a great job. It was a great event. That summer music sounds on Friday night. That was fantastic, good attendance. And I have a lot of friends and family who have been trying to get me to do yoga, and I have not followed their advice, and now I'm doing yoga. So great job on getting me out on the weekend and being healthier. So thank you to our chamber for the successful, what I've seen so far to be a successful partnership there in the downtown area. And then I just wanted to say to our city manager in your report, just thank you for addressing that rental housing committee so quickly. We'd heard about that, and you've already turned that around. And so thank you for establishing that and getting it back up and running so quickly. And then all my questions are for later in the agenda. So thank you so much.
Councilor Ireland?
Thank you for all those that came out and spoke. I hear you and I'm listening, and especially those that came about the homeless and the also the aging population. I'm one of them. So I appreciate Sherry sharing about the Greenway Trail and how it affects those off-leash dogs with the bikes, and hopefully with the $210,000 that we recently found out we're spending, we can find a solution there. And thank you talking about the Midland building for 10 years, suffering with that. Thank you all that came out and spoke. Thanks.
Councilor Azadi, did you have anything?
Nope.
That brings us to consent agenda. Councilor Demott.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve consent agenda items 8A through 8F.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve items 8A through 8F. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Carmelia.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to call out item F, which I saw that we have our representative here, so thank you on that. I'm just curious, I was reading through what we plan to do with this money, which we're very fortunate to Dr. Cog. We received $1.2 million that is from the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant, just going towards our city to reduce pollution and increase energy savings where we can around the city. And so what it looks like to me is it's going to a climate policy analyst, or an energy policy. And so I'm just wondering, do we have any specific plans as to what projects they will be working on? And I just want to get further information, as I am a liaison on a few different committees where I think folks would be very interested to know what exactly we're doing with the money.
Mayor, would you like that staff to address that now, or do you want to pass the other consent items and then do this one? So either way.
Okay.
We can have staff, so if staff could come up to the podium and maybe help with Councilor Carmelia's question.
I think the question is, do you need it before you vote?
I do not.
Okay.
Oh.
Just looking for details and information for the community.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Bridger Tomlin, Sustainability Administrator. And thank you, Claire, for the question. So, correct, a energy policy analyst is a proposed use in the grant application. That analyst position is really focused on our building and energy codes and thinking long-term about how our energy policies related to building new construction and retrofits are going to be best unified and consistent with the region as we move forward, how we can phase in decarbonization and make our homes, residents, businesses more healthy, clean for our communities. So that will be our central focus, is working through that energy code adoption process. That's something we currently don't have someone dedicated to the energy code, and in discussions with other staff in building and planning, that would be a great asset to our community services department. That person would also be working with Dr. Cog's approval on various related projects. Some of that would be holding contracts for education and training for our plan reviewers, inspectors on the energy code, really upskilling those staff and working with a consultant to make sure that we're best educated and informed employees. Also, they might be working on the downtown and ensuring that we're meeting LEED Silver requirements for the downtown. So those are a few of the projects that they'd be working on, but we need to make sure that we're really checking all the boxes within what Dr. Cog, the parameters of the grant. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I can provide more information as well as once we finalize the application.
Amazing, thank you. Because I know like equity is a big topic and focus on the money as well, and I didn't see that, but I'm sure we're planning it out. So thank you.
Thank you. See no other questions? Roll call, please.
Councilor Demott.
Yes.
Councilor Zadi.
Yes.
Councilor Hott.
Yes.
Mayor McNally.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela.
Yes.
Councilor Ireland.
Yes.
Councilor Carmelia.
Yes.
The motion passes on a 7-0 vote.
Thank you. That brings us to Councilor's Bill number 22. Councilor Demott.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to pass Council Bill number 22 on first reading to approve proposed amendments to Title II of the Westminster Municipal Code to update language related to boards and commissions, including term limits.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass Councilor's Bill on first reading number 22. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Councilor Zadi.
Yes.
Councilor Hott.
Yes.
Mayor McNally.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela.
Yes.
Councilor Ireland.
Yes.
Councilor Carmelia.
Yes.
Councilor Demott.
Yes.
The motion passes on a 7-0 vote.
Councilor Demott.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to pass Council Bill number 23 on first reading, appropriating a transfer from the 2025 General Fund carryover to the 2025 General Capital Improvement Fund, Irving Street abatement for nuisance abatement activities associated with the Midland Building located at 7255 Irving Street.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass Councilors Bill number 23. City Manager, do we have any staff that would like to give us some information?
Mayor, thank you for the question. I would ask Larry Dorr to come up and give us a brief overview of next steps with respect to the Midland Building, which will inform Council's voting on this tonight.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. Once again, my name is Larry Dorr, one of 2 deputy city managers at the City of Westminster. I want to recount some information for the Westminster community and City Council because there's a lot of funds involved in this activity tonight, much of which is already known to the City Council, so forgive me for repeating this, but it's best to have the community come to the same place. And then I do have the second half of my report will include new information since the time of my last report to the community. And so I'll just jump right in. The reason I've come forward as the deputy involved in this is on May 19th, I was serving as the acting city manager, and council member DeMott and the consensus of council asked for an update on 7255 Irving Street, also known as the Midland Building in our community, and that had been previously raised via email, and I committed to making a follow-up, and I want to remain accountable and responsible to you and to the Westminster community throughout this entire process. As fate would have it, Director Lindsay Kimball had been pursuing the owner in this discussion for several months, and that finally resulted in a meeting which I attended just 2 business days after that council meeting, where I met the owner and heard the circumstances by which he came to own the property, and just learned a little bit about his background and intentions for the property and what the future looked like. And I recounted the chronology for him. And just as a little background, the owner is a semi-retired property investor residing in Parker, Colorado. He oversees a number of properties across the Front Range. He described feeling some regret about the situation, but that he just hadn't done anything relative to the property since an official development plan and rezoning was approved by City Council in February 2024. But prior to that, and as mentioned by some of the community members, he and his partner purchased the building. They had a tenant that was obligated under a lease to pay rent. They chose not to occupy the building. They merely collected that rent and left it in the condition that it's been in for, those many years, now with the intent to redevelop it. In July of 2024, a building permit application was submitted, plans were submitted. Staff responded that those plans were submitted under the 2015 building code and needed to be resubmitted. That wasn't done until February of 2025 when updated plans were submitted under our current building codes in Westminster. Staff replied in March that to the development team that the building plans for plumbing, mechanical, utilities, and occupancy were all materially deficient. No fire suppression submittal was made at all, no building elevations were submitted, no site plan was submitted, and there was no response to staff's follow-up with the ownership team. So I described all of that to the owner. Again, he expressed his regret, his remorse, etc., and I asked for a meeting with him and his entire team on June 5th to discuss all of the elements of this. They appeared and attended with 9 staff members and myself. We recounted all of the circumstances and got some commitments to make some submittals, and I asked for bi-weekly meetings with the team so that we could inform the community on the progress. The subsequent follow-up meeting, unfortunately, the owner could not attend. He was out of the country on vacation at the time, and only one of his representatives appeared who wasn't informed or prepared to move the project forward. So I described that to the City Council on June 23rd and suggested at that time, and Council directed me to return with this appropriations ordinance so that a second path parallel to the building review process could be taken in the judicial environment, such that a finding could be made and remediation for the health, safety, and welfare Westminster community could be addressed. I let the owner know on July 8th when he returned from his vacation that one, I described the failures of his development team to be responsive and attend the meeting. I described council's direction and that we would be proceeding with a judicial abatement process. And our subsequent meetings were essentially canceled. Later that week, in response, a building permit submittal was received, lo and behold, related to that. I did not meet my commitment to come back on Monday, July 14th for an appropriations ordinance due to a few reasons, but action was taken. I was prepared to, with the city attorney to petition the municipal court for a special inspection warrant to enter the building with our chief building official and make certain inspections. That was not needed. The owner granted entry to the building on Monday, July 14th, a couple of weeks ago. There was quite a crew present, reboarding up windows, cleaning up trash, remediating a lot of things that the community has been seeing and experiencing for many, many years. The chief building official served a notice of violation on the property and found a determination that the structure was unsafe and in violation of Westminster Code sections 11-9-2 to include that the building is unfit for human habitation, exhibits signs of prolonged deterioration. Also found the building to be a public nuisance and that due to its dilapidated appearance and neglect, it constitutes a public nuisance. She found an unsecured vacant structure has not been adequately secured to prevent unauthorized entry. There were broken doors and windows that pose a safety risk. And then finally, the property, in her view, has been abandoned for a period exceeding 6 months and contributes to its unsafe condition and establishing as an attractive nuisance. She provided a letter, her notice of violation on July 16th. And is given 10 days for response. However, it's best for the next step is for City Council to provide funding and appropriations for any remediation that might come from this judicial process. After serving that letter, we had quite a week last week. On Monday, the Landscape and Private Improvements Agreement was submitted. The land disturbance permit application submittal was received. The civil construction drawings were submitted. You can tell from legal counsel to the owner that it's been quite an active bit of engagement. On Friday, the proposed land plat was submitted as well. This has been a very short period of time and has been part of my involvement across multiple departments, our Chief of Staff and Policy and Budget Office, Community Services, Public Works and Utilities, and the City Attorney's Office. However, I did meet today with the team entirely. We meet every week on the subject. And I discussed with the plans examiner and asked for her review of the building permit submittal that was provided on July 11th, in as much as she would have had some time to engage in that. And her description to me was that many fundamentals are missing. Examples include the residential construction narrative proposes using building materials that conflict with the construction type proposed. That's pretty significant. The sprinkler system description was not submitted with sufficient detail. That's unusual. There was no submittal as required of the description of narrative changes from the first submittal in February 2025. So essentially no red lines were provided as required. And then as of today, and I think you heard some of this earlier, but no fire alarm permit application has been submitted at all for this process. The fire sprinkler permit application that was submitted on July 9th, which is just a separate submittal, is not valid because it was not submitted by a licensed fire suppression company, and we've had no response from the owner until his legal counsel described that tonight. So thank you for letting me describe this into the record. And essentially, our city has two paths under the code. We will provide due process and responsiveness under the building code. We will continue to process applications as we're obligated to do. And second, we will continue to pursue a judicial path under the findings of violation of the chief building official, and up to and including remediation. Should that become necessary, rest assured we have a lot of experience in the procurement aspects. Our last remediation and demolition, we received more than 10 bids, so we're confident that we can do that in that deconstruction in a very efficient and cost-effective manner. So in view of what I've described, staff respectfully requests that the City Council approve the appropriations ordinance. With those funds appropriated, staff will proceed with a judicial process for remediation separate from the building review process. Also, council will have an opportunity, should it approve the ordinance tonight, to receive an update on the situation at 7255 Irving Street at the second reading of the ordinance on August 11th. During your regular public meeting on your next regular public meeting. So with that, thank you for letting me provide this report to Mayor and Council and the Westminster community. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I look forward to your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor DeMott?
I have comments.
Oh, Councillor Carmelia?
This is directed to our city attorney, I believe, maybe city manager. What, if any, repercussions could the city face from a litigation standpoint, or do we expect to receive from the client if we move forward with a judicial?
Thank you for the question, Councillor. So the Westminster Municipal Code sets forth a process that staff would follow and bring the matter to the municipal court, addressing the condition of the building and seeking court orders for the remediation of the nuisance. So this process is explicitly authorized in our code. So I don't see a liability to the city. It would be up to the judge to consider the request, and the applicant or owner of the property would have an opportunity to be heard there.
Thank you.
Councillor Ireland?
So has the owner of the property ever been asked to tear down the building and pay to have it torn down and cleaned up?
Oh, yeah,
or does he just keep giving us permits for some project?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Ireland. When I met with the owner on May 21st, I asked him that. I asked him if we could perform on his behalf a highest and best use of the site. And he described very strongly his conviction to the structure that is present there. He believes very firmly that that's the best path forward for him. I think, in my experience, adaptive reuse of existing structures is extremely complicated and challenging to do, and also very expensive. And so it is for these reasons that it makes sense for the Westminster community to pursue the judicial path alongside the building review, because designing it is both costly and time-consuming, but building it will be also. And it's just been a long time, an unusual amount of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Azadi, do you have any questions? Do we have a motion? Councillor DeMott?
I think the motions are, didn't we already get the motion on the table? I do have comments before we vote. So I'm going to quote Billie Holiday. Somebody once said, "You never know when enough it is enough until we know it's more than enough." And for me, I've had more than enough of hearing about the Midland building, quite frankly. And so this is why I strongly brought this forward. Mr. Dorr was nicer about what I said than I was. One of our primary things that we're responsible for is public safety. This building has been beyond a nuisance. It's a safety risk, not just to the public, but imagine, and this is brought to me by a community member, imagine there's a fire in that building and our firefighters or police officers have to go clear that building that's not safe when it's not on fire. That's not something that I'm willing to sit up here and risk in the time that I have the authority to do something about it. This building needs to be taken care of. I think the the owners had more than enough time, and quite frankly, I think he's been playing games, and we've seen more of it here tonight. There was plenty of opportunity when we brought this forward, or I brought this forward over a month ago. There was opportunity given, and that opportunity was squandered. So in my opinion, we need to continue down the path to talk to the court and actually abate this building. So I'm more than happy to support this tonight.
Councilor Carmelia?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor DeMott, for bringing this and pushing us forward to where we are. I want to say similar comments in that I think as from what we heard tonight, and thank you also, Mr. Dorr, for your thorough work on this. I think you could have been a lawyer as well in a separate career. Very detailed. I appreciate that. But it really went to prove that plans were deficient, and we made an effort to extend our help to them to help them get through the process, and yet we have still been unsuccessful thus far in making any true development plans on this property. So in this case, I just, I appreciate that they are attempting to, move forward, and of course we will review those and we will continue to review those, but I think this is a case of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So I'll be supporting the deconstruction.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I have similar feelings. I do want to thank staff for trying to work, constructively with the property owner. On my day job, I understand this. I've seen this happen, and I've seen people just not move forward despite asking for milestones to be met. And so I know with good intentions you've had conversations, and but I agree that this is not something that we need to accommodate any longer, and I fully support us moving forward on hopefully being able to abate this. It not only is a safety issue, but I think to some of the public statements, it's also a real impact on the economic health of the area. So move forward. Thanks.
I too, I have very strong feelings on this, and it's nice that they've decided to come to the table, but it may be 10 years too late. And I know how the people feel in that area, having an absent property owner. Our residents are the ones that have to look at it. He does not. And they're tired, and I'm tired of fighting this. Go forth and do what we need to get done. Hearing nothing else, roll call, please.
Councillor Hott?
Yes.
Mayor McNally?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela?
Yes.
Councillor Ireland?
Yes.
Councillor Carmelia?
Yes.
Councillor DeMott?
Yes.
And Councillor Azadi?
Yes.
The motion passes on a 7-0 vote.
It is 8:12, and since we did our post-meeting for pre-meeting, we are adjourned.